Hi you guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Patience. To my existing subscribers, welcome back. If this is your first time here, be sure to click that subscribe button and that notification bell so you can continue to indulge in the Haute Bella experience. In today's video, I am going to be using for the first time the Natasha Denona BIBA palette. This is a palette that I picked up during the most recent Sephora VIB sale, and this palette has been in and out of my cart for quite some time, for about a year to be exact. I've picked up several of the Natasha Denona palettes, and for some reason this BIBA palette is the last one that I've added to my collection so far, even though this came out earlier than some of the other ones that I already have in my collection. I really like this palette because it has warm tone shades and also some cool tone shades that you can use to create a gorgeous eye look. Today I primarily focused on this bottom row here, which is more of the cooler tone of shades that are in this palette. This one shade right here, which is called Spot, is one of her cream to powder formulas in this palette. There are several of those cream to powder formulas in this palette, but this black is super nice. It's wonderful to have a black in that cream to powder formula. It's really nice. So I am going to be creating more looks using this palette. There's a lot of colors for me to play with here. So yeah, you guys are going to see some more of this BIBA palette. So if you guys would like to see how I created this look, then keep watching. My face has been cleansed. I've also toned with my Fresh Deep Hydration Rose Toner. I also used some of my SK2 Patera Facial Essence. I moisturized my face using my Glow Recipe Watermelon Pink Juice Moisturizer. And I primed my face with the No Problem Primer from Touch in Sol. And I'm going into the Natasha Denona BIBA palette, and I'm going to use this shade right here. This shade is called Monroe. And I'm going to use this as my brow bone highlight. I'm going to use this shade right here. This shade is called Prairie, and I'm going to use this as my transition shade. This is a very soft, warm, yellowish type of, it's not really yellow. This is more like a warm tan type of shade on my complexion. But in the pan, it looks kind of yellow. So it does have that yellowish type of undertone to it on my eye. I can see that, but it's not as yellow, or it doesn't appear as yellow on my complexion as it actually looks in the pan. But the formula is wonderful as usual. It's just gliding right on. It's like butter baby. And now I'm going to use this shade right here. This shade is called Cocoa, and I'm going to put this into my crease area. I'm starting with my outer V as I normally do, and then just gently sweeping it into the crease. Wow, these shades look a lot different on my complexion than they do in the pan. This shade looks to be like a really rich chocolatey brown type of color, but it is showing up a lot darker or deeper on my skin tones. But the formula is very nice. Formula is really nice. So I'm just taking my time and evening this out just to get it to how I want it to look. I want to make sure that both eyes are looking the same. And I'm going to go back into this shade right here once again. This shade is called Prairie, and I'm going to use this just to soften up the edges here where I have applied the deeper shade, the Cocoa, just to make sure that I don't have any harsh lines. So just a little bit. And also to make certain that I don't lose this shade. I'm going to deepen this up just a little bit more. I'm going to use this shade right here, and this shade is called Tar. And I'm going to place this on the outer V, and I'm going to sweep it a little bit into my crease area, but not taking it all the way across to the inner corner. I think I may change my brush. I think I'm going to go to my MAC 242. This is turning out to be a really cool tone look already. I didn't predetermine anything before I jumped into this palette, so I'm just playing around to see what I come up with. But yeah, looks like we're going to cool tone. I think I want to deepen up just a little bit more, so I'm going to go ahead and go into this shade right here. This is the black shade in this palette, and it's called Spot. I'm going to use this just to deepen up just a little bit more. I've done my little half cut crease type of situation that I always do, and I am going to soften up the edges of where I have applied the Revolution cut crease canvas, and I'm going to use the shade right here. This is Tar. And I think I'm going to keep this as an all matte look. So I'm going to use this shade right here. This shade is called Tusk. And I'm going to use this in the inner corner and take it out to about halfway here on my lid. I'm going to use my Morphe 705. This is a pointed shader brush, and I am just going to tap this into place. And now I'm going to take this shade right here. This shade is called Sculpture, and I'm going to use my MAC 242, and I'm going to blend a little bit of that Sculpture right in between where these two shades are coming together. Just a little bit. Gently blending a little bit of this in there. Again, this is turning out to be a really cool tone look, but you know, cool tone looks are nice. I like them on my complexion. And again, this is an all matte look, making sure this is just softly blending into the other color. I'm going to take this Sigma E36 brush, and I'm going to add a little bit more definition into the area where I've had to manipulate my natural crease line. You guys know how I do this. So I'm going to go back into this shade right here. This shade is called Spot. This is the black shade in this palette, and this shadow is that cream to powder type of formula. I'm going to take this and add just a little bit more definition into this eye look. It's gonna make it really sultry, give it a little bit more smoke, just a little bit. This is looking pretty good, so I'm going to add my liner and my lashes. My liner and my lashes are done, and I've also done a little color correcting around my mouth using my Kevyn Aucoin Sensual Skin Enhancer in SX14. And I use my Touch of Pearl and Candlelight under my eye, as I always do. So I'm going to move on to my complexion. And I'm going to use the Hollywood Flawless Filter from Charlotte Tilbury. And this is in the shade number 6. And this product is not a foundation. It's a product that you would use under your foundation to give yourself that glow from within type of look. So I picked this up a little while ago, so it's been sitting in my collection for quite some time. So I'm going to use my Charlotte Tilbury foundation today as well. So I decided that I would use a little bit of this product also. So I'm just going to put a little bit of this in the areas where I would like there to be a little bit of glow or highlight. The last time I used this, I used it all over my face. And I know that some may think that that's a bit much, but the look turned out beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. I'll be sure to put the link in the iCard above here so you guys can check that video out if you have not seen it as of yet. But yeah, that look turned out so pretty. And I've got a little e.l.f. foundation brush here, and I'm going to use this just to pat this product into place. And I'm going to use the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Foundation today for my complexion, and I'm in the shade 9.5. And as usual, I'm starting off by applying this foundation with a foundation brush. This is a brush that I got in my BoxyCharm box. I believe this is from Alamar. Yeah, this is from Alamar. So I'm using this brush to apply this foundation, and then I'll follow up with a sponge. I'm going to use the Magic Away Concealer from Charlotte Tilbury as well. I've had this concealer for quite some time, and I've almost used it all up, which is a good sign. This is also in the shade number 6, and at some point I am going to come back and do a review on this concealer. I'm placing this concealer in all of the areas that you would want to highlight and conceal. So it'll be interesting to see if my Hollywood Flawless filter still shows through after applying foundation and concealer on top of it. Go in with my sponge just to make sure I don't have any excess product sitting on top of my skin. And I'm going to use my Hourglass Translucent Veil Setting Powder to set under my eyes, or to set all the areas where I have applied the concealer. I'm checking for that Hollywood Flawless filter. See if I can still see some glow on my skin. What do you guys think? I know here in my nose area I can really see it. And now I'm going to do some cream contouring. And I'm going to use my contour wand from Charlotte Tilbury. And this shade is also the deepest shade that is offered in this contour wand, but it works really well. And now I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury Skin Perfecting Micro Powder. I am in the shade 3 Dark. This is also the darkest shade of powder that Charlotte Tilbury has, but to my surprise, this powder does work really well. I didn't think it was going to be dark enough for my complexion, but it really does work pretty nicely. And now I'm going to use the Charlotte Tilbury Cheek to Chic blush. This is in the shade Climax. This is a really soft and pretty shade of blush. So pretty. Gives me just the right amount of pink, or almost like a mauve-y kind of color. Very, very pretty. I love this Lovegasm palette. It is so beautiful. So I really like this because it's really easy to use. I think I'm going to use these two shades right here. I'm gonna take my brush and just work with these two shades right here. Get some of this on my brush and give myself a nice little glow. And I think for the inner corner, I am going to go into this shade right here. This shade is called Shine, and I'm going to add just a little bit of that right in this inner corner. And just kind of wrap it around just a little bit. And now it is time for lips, and I am going to be using one of the Fenty Beauty Stunna lip paints, and it's in the shade Uncensored. So this is a very pretty red lip. I know that this is probably bold, but you know what? I haven't worn a red lip in quite some time, and I think it's going to look beautiful with this eye look that I've got going on. And this look is done. I am so glad that I finally got my hands on the BIBA palette from Natasha Denona. The shades in this palette are absolutely gorgeous, and the cream to powder formula of eyeshadow is so unique to me, and it works so well when you're trying to create a look. It blends out so effortlessly, and it just comes together in a way that you would really, really want it to really easily. This is one of many looks that I will create using this palette. I hope you guys liked this video, and if you did, remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys on my next video. Bye-bye.